Akshita is with me live. I want to put our focus on Kharkiv for the moment. Akshita, we've seen non-stop hostilities, flattening different parts of Kharkiv, from that cruise missile attack yesterday to the overnight shelling to now this rocket attack on an academy in Kharkiv. Take us through an overview of where these locations are in Kharkiv city, Akshita.
So Shiv, using Google Maps, we're trying to identify exactly where these attacks are happening. You pointed out yesterday the attack as well as today. I want to identify how far away they are from each other. This building that you see on your screens right now is the military academy that's currently reportedly under attack. You can see it's a 7-storied building here. There are railway lines that go across. In this particular road, it's called, as it's written here, Square of Defenders of Ukraine. It's in this area right now that you're seeing, in fact, the entire attack happening is what we're hearing right now. There have been lots of explosions that have been reported around this particular building. Let me take you through the other view also. Now that I've shown you the building, I want to show you where exactly this particular location lies. Now, if I zoom out further and you look at this particular area that this place falls, it's very, very close to also what happened last time around, to the incident that happened yesterday as well. So as we track, of course, what's playing out right now in Kharkiv, I'm going to continue going through and sieve through this entire map, Shiv, to find out exactly where these attacks happen. From what we saw yesterday versus today, there's quite a bit of distance. So it's multiple places of Kharkiv now that are under attack.
Akshita, thanks very much for that. We've got more pictures coming in now, more pictures coming in of the site of the attack itself. An advisor to the head of Ukraine's Ministry of Internal Affairs has put out footage in which, according to his information, the building of the regional police department in Kharkiv has also apparently been attacked. These fresh images coming in. 2 images of what appear to be the same attack. According to the Ukrainian government, the police headquarters in Kharkiv has apparently come under attack. As you can see, its roof is on fire. These are all pretty old buildings. The roof completely on fire in what appears to be a direct hit by rockets on the police headquarters in Kharkiv. Very, very disturbing images of the latest round of destruction. And if you look at as the camera pans, that's a lot of damage to that particular building. The streets are completely empty. The city is a ghost town. It's devastated. You can only see fire service personnel here. And this appears to be the police headquarters in Kharkiv that's been struck by rocket fire. Maria, very disturbing videos coming in. That building completely on fire. This appears to be the police academy or the police headquarters in Kharkiv that's been struck by rocket fire. It appears to be a direct hit. We can see some fire personnel running around as well. This appears to be a targeted attack. Maria.
Yeah, right. So as far as the news go, these attacks on civil objects in Kharkiv are like a new strategy, of Russia to try to shows that they can take the capital, because Kharkiv used to be a capital during the Soviet times at the beginning of 20th century. So it's like, the example, see what we can do with your capital. So Kyiv awaits the same. That is kind of the tactics of Russia, which is believed to be. For sure, we do not know what else is on their minds, but to see these pictures is really devastating. But at the same time, as we see such tragedies with in civil quarters, with civil buildings, the shelling, we also see the good news also from Kharkiv that Ukrainian military managed to capture 6 Russian tanks during the attack on Kharkiv. So you see Russia uses all its arsenal to capture the city, to put the city under siege, to make people lose confidence, to start panic, to flee the city, to make the life just a hell on earth in these cities. And what is good, it seems to me, and what is to point out in this situation when we show these really very disturbing images, is that people in Ukraine are still, we are not losing hope. We are, on the contrary, are getting more and more strong that, and understanding that if we have been battling for a week already with Russian army, we can defeat the Russian army because according to
But Maria,
all the
what is happening in
reports,
Kharkiv right now? Who is controlling Kharkiv? Because it appears that the Russian forces, are looking to destroy most of the city. It's completely broken up and in pieces. We're seeing almost uninterrupted attacks on the city.
Yeah, right. But according to Ukrainian law and all the types of law, the city is under Ukrainian rule, and unless there are people in governmental, buildings of Kharkiv, administrative buildings, and there are Ukrainian people, and the flags are Ukrainian, so the city is still under control of Ukraine. And yes, we see these images of destruction, massive destruction all over the city. But still, the city is under control of Ukraine. Contrary, for example, to Kherson, which yesterday there were reports of, attempts to overthrow the administration of Kherson and to go inside. The Russians tried to go inside and to put Russian flags. And in Kherson, it was even close to being the reality. But we do not see this in Kharkiv. Yes, Kharkiv withstands. Kharkiv proves to be Ukrainian city, which really stands strong and repels the Russian, all Russian attempts to attack. So that is what we see. Looking at these images and trying to understand why is it even happening, why Russia has changed its tactics from, attacking military to attacking civilians, and
right.
It is full on war with attacks on civil objects and such massive destruction and devastation.
Maria, thanks very much for joining me. Stay safe. Kyiv is also a city that's currently under siege. The spotlight for the moment here in India today on the city of Kharkiv, where extremely disturbing images. The latest images coming in from the city of Kharkiv, where an Indian student lost his life yesterday, not very far from the locations that you're seeing. The police, the police headquarters of Kharkiv, as well as the military academy located in that city, both on fire as a result of a rocket attack by the Russian forces, located apparently in the area between Kharkiv and the Russian border, about 40 kilometers away. So extensive, uninterrupted damage being wrought on several different establishments and buildings. The military academy and the police headquarters being targeted doesn't sound very much like a coincidence. We'll try and get more information on the ground. We've got a reporter in Kharkiv as well. We'll try and get more information. Remember, this is the city where Indian student from Karnataka, Naveen Shekarappa, 21 years old, had lost his life in shelling yesterday morning. Overnight, there has been non-stop rocket artillery fire that has lit up the night skies of Kharkiv. And today, you're seeing these two very compelling images coming in from the city that once again confirm what we've been telling you practically from day one, that the worst fighting, the maximum damage, the most aggressive hostilities are actually playing out in Ukraine's second largest city of Kharkiv. That's where all of this is happening. Remember, this is a city where Russian airborne troops also have reportedly landed, according to the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense. That's the police headquarters building and the military academy. Two images that are now becoming the talking point of the higher tempo on day 7 of Vladimir Putin's war for domination of Ukraine. At this point of time, there's a great deal of Western pressure that's massed on the outside against the Russian forces, but on the inside, this is what is happening to Ukraine. This is what is happening to the Ukrainian people. All of it because Ukraine wants to become a member of NATO, which is entirely and totally unacceptable to Vladimir Putin. Those are the bigger issues that are being fought over on the ground, playing out live on your television screens. This is the result of countries that cannot agree. Building after building being targeted and smashed by either cruise missiles or rockets. We don't know what the death toll or casualty figures could be in these two attacks, but the damage appears to have been done. There is damage to the buildings. They haven't entirely collapsed, but the roof has, practically broken apart and fallen off the building in one of those images. Big smoke plumes becoming a metaphor for all of Ukraine right now. This is the cityscape from one angle in the city of Kharkiv. You can bet that Indian parents all across India with their children studying in the city of Kharkiv will be watching and holding their breaths. These are images that are unsettling, they're disturbing, and I want to tell each and every Indian and Indian parent watching India Today this afternoon that we will only bring you the facts. We will provide all of the information that is required for students to get out, because this is a city that is very, very rapidly collapsing. The Ukrainian government says Kharkiv is still in their control, but look at the aggression and look at the amount of firepower that is being used against Ukraine's second largest city. It tells you everything you need to know, perhaps, about what could be soon at the doorstep of the capital city of Kyiv, which is just less than 500 kilometers to the west of these pictures that you're looking at this time. Akshita is with me, and Akshita is going to piece together the locations of where these attacks are taking place. We've got an overview of the city, Akshita. Take it away.
This is one building that's been targeted right now by Russians, Shiv. This entire building, which you see is a 7-story building, is a military academy. I'm going to go down this particular lane to show you exactly what it looks like before all of this conflict actually happened. You see that there's a lot of traffic, a lot of civilians who come around this area. There are train tracks also that run right through. But this entire building is a military academy. It's a 7-story one, which we understand has been hit by rockets now. So a lot of damage that's been reported in these particular lanes. This entire area looks unrecognizable right now because it's completely filled with rubble and debris after the rocket strike on the military academy. The other image that we're showing, Shiv, is of a police building also being targeted, and we're trying to also identify where that is. We're being told it's pretty much in the same vicinity. This entire building has pretty much been razed down because of this strike, and this entire lane right now closed down. There are officials on the ground, but it was empty largely because all of these images that I'm showing you right now of this road and this entire stretch of this lane as well as the other, completely empty, filled with rubble and debris right now. So this is the building, and I want to also put it in context for you as to exactly where this is in Kharkiv. Now stay with me, Shiv. I'll just explain to you that this is the location that I'm referring to. This is where the building is that I just showed you, that's been targeted right now by Russians. Yesterday, we played out for you a very, very telling image again of how, in fact, there was this government building that was targeted. Now, if this particular building is here, the other one is way up here, Shiv. It's right up in this particular area here. So you can see that it's not just limited to one part of Kharkiv. If I zoom in further, I can show you that in that particular area there, you have one attack that's happened here, and the other is way below, right down to this particular point here. So because of that, you can see that it's across Kharkiv now, that there are multiple reports being, there are multiple attacks being reported there by Russian troops. Not limited to one pocket of Kharkiv, they've spread out now. We're going to identify exactly where the police building also is and join you in a few moments.
We're getting from Kharkiv are very, very worrying. The city is being deteriorated progressively. Images of the police headquarters struck, the military academy also struck in artillery or rocket fire. The damage is done. These buildings are empty. As you can see, there's nobody inside them. So hopefully there won't be any, human loss of life. But attacks of this kind are taking the lives of civilians. Let's never forget that it is not very far from this academy that's burning on your screens in these latest images from Kharkiv. That Indian student, Naveen Shekharappa, had lost his life yesterday morning. He'd come out of his bunker to go to get something to eat because of curfew lifted, and he came under rocket or artillery fire. He lost his life. His family is battling to bring him back home. This is what the city he died in looks like at this time. Kharkiv is no joke. It's totally a war zone right now. And let me just tell you, viewer, that Kharkiv might sound obscure to us here in India, but it is a city that we must all be familiar with now because we've been looking at it for the last 7 days. And we've been telling you non-stop through our reporters on the ground that Kharkiv is probably going to be flattened. It's probably going to be a city that is totally destroyed in this conflict, whether Putin reaches his objectives or not. Take a look at the 4 images that we're getting to you from the city of Kharkiv in the last 24 hours. Cruise missile attack, overnight rocket fire and shelling, military academy struck, police headquarters struck, and the firing still continues even now. There's a curfew in the city. There is an enormous amount of fear among citizens who are in their bomb shelters and bunkers because firing could happen at any point of time. Kharkiv is totally under siege. The Ukrainian government says that the Ukraine currently controls Kharkiv. That could be the case, but it is a city that is clearly besieged because it is being attacked at will from the outside by Russian rocket regiments, possible artillery, as well as clearly standoff cruise missiles that could be coming in, flying in from across the border in Russia. Remember that Russia's border is only 40 kilometers away, and they've got cruise missiles that have much longer ranges than 40 kilometers, and therefore you're seeing this particular city being targeted practically at will by President Putin's war machine. Things are escalating very, very rapidly in Kharkiv. I'm going to have some voices for you from Kharkiv in just a short minute from now. I'm not going to move away from these pictures.